This is a story about false choices. Washington can often seem like a split screen, with one party or administration simply taking the other side in endless debates. We've seen this with energy policy and the back and forth over fossil fuels versus so-called green energy. But on this one, could they both be right?
I signed the most significant climate and clean energy law ever in the history of the world.
You know what it is? We have a policy. It's called drill, baby, drill. That's our policy.
Two visions now bound by the same reality, an industry under pressure.
We expect demand for electricity in the United States to grow by about 25%.
Racing to power our ever-growing digital appetite.
What we know now is that the nation, the country, is short of electrons.
While millions of Americans are already feeling the strain.
And they just said, Mary, you sold us peace of mind.
When you look at the last few decades, electricity demand in the U.S. is a three-part story. From the early 1990s through about 2005, demand rose steadily as the economy grew and the grid expanded with it. Then, from 2005 to 2020, the trend flattened. Efficiency improved and industries modernized. But starting around 2020, the pattern shifted again. For the first time in more than a decade, electricity demand renewed its upward march, and the projections for the future only climb from there.
AI is affecting really everything across the board in the electricity generation sector at the moment.
Ethan Zindler is the head of country and policy research at Bloomberg New Energy Finance, having served as climate counselor to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. He sees efforts by the Trump administration to cut back on green energy as running up against the overall demand for more energy.
The United States looked at energy policy almost exclusively through the lens of environmental policy or environmental science.
We're going to put the miners back to work.
But when you think about energy and its importance to our economy, you cannot look at it exclusively through this environmental science lens.
You mentioned oil and natural gas. There are also alternative sources of energy, some call renewables or green energy. What is that balance looking like, and is it shifting?
It's not shifting very much. I mean, what we're seeing are more renewables being put onto the grid. That's certainly true, but that's largely capacity. The capacity, the ability to make energy. It's not the production of energy. Those are two different concepts. Although we see a lot of renewable technologies like solar and wind being put onto the grid, it's important to remember that they only produce the energy about 30 to 35, maybe 40% of the time. But it's going to take all forms of energy. That much we do know.
According to Bloomberg New Energy Finance, data centers could consume about 4.4% of global electricity by 2035. And companies representing both sides of the debate race to increase energy production. There's another build-out taking place, one that doesn't depend on the grid for distribution, one that is closer to home. We have a big increase in the demand for energy. What is your company doing to help with that?
Oh, we do have an incredible demand, increasing demand for energy. And what I love about what Sunrun is doing is we are providing for Americans an avenue for energy independence so they can generate their own energy, they can store their own energy.
Mary Powell is the CEO of Sunrun.
Particularly for the market for batteries, the U.S. has really heavily relied on China to provide the large-scale batteries that are used for so-called utility-scale projects. The new One Big Beautiful Bill includes a provision that specifically attempts to turn the market away from foreign-made batteries. If you want to qualify for tax credits in a couple of years, you will need to be using American-made equipment, or at least not Chinese-made equipment.
I think many of the countries around the world are beginning to understand the importance of energy to not only to their economic security, but their national security. And that's why you're starting to see, in many cases, the policies shift in the way that they are.
From nations to homes.
I don't see this consumer-led revolution as the solution.
Whether it's green or not.
I see us being a really critical resource for flexible, resilient solutions for utilities.
In the end, it's about power in every sense of the word.
This is a real substantial change.
And one reality cuts through every debate.
We're going to need all of it in order to meet the demand curve.